I know you guys have been waiting for this. Here is the dedicated Silver video. Silver was the first short that I uploaded in a while. There was a work in progress that is still on my shorts page, but I finally decided to hunker down and finish the Silver piece. You can see, obviously, within the first 5 seconds that I changed the actual pose that I originally had for him in the short to something a little more dynamic. I wanted something that would showcase, that would be more dynamic, that would help with the silhouette. It would showcase his powers as well. And it seems like the pose that I came up with, it worked out. You will also notice, for people who may have seen my last few videos, I usually have like some kind of reference for my pose that I pull from Pinterest or something like that, somebody making a pose. But this time I did not do that because there was no really I couldn't really find a pose that would really like fit for him. So I said, you know what, I'm an artist, I know what I'm doing, I have my mental library that I can just pull from. If I really need some help, then I can get like parts of the pose that I can get references for. But as it stands now, the actual pose that I chose, I honestly really like it. It feels like Silver. So I kind of wanted to highlight the hands here. Ultimately, I think if there's one thing I could have did better with this piece, it's focus on the hands a little more. Just focus on making them better than what they ultimately turned out to be. I do like the piece itself, and I do like the hands, like what I was going for especially. But I feel like there was some refinement that I could have made on the left hand, just like his left hand and also his right hand. It looked a little unnatural to me. His left hand looked, it looked like it was in style, like in the same style, but it looked like it was in a different style to the right hand. So going like in retrospective, I'm just like, okay, you know what? Keep that in mind for next time. This is also probably like a good note to some people. One technique that people tend to do when it comes to like overseeing some of like their art process as they're making their piece, they like to flip the page, they like to flip their artwork and stuff. I need to get better at doing that, but that's probably something that you really should do. So like just take your drawing, your painting, whatever, and just flip it horizontally, just flip it, see what it looks like opposite, because the human brain will trick you. Like your brain will trick you into thinking like something looks amazing, it looks great, and then once you flip it, it's like, oh, that is not what I made, you know? So yeah, it's good to be very conscious about what you're actually making versus what your mind is perceiving, you know? So, a bit of a tangent. There's a lot of Sonic news coming out, like just leaks and such, different things. And also Sonic's birthday is next month, a couple of weeks. So I imagine Sega's going to throw a lot of things at us in terms of content. New Sonic games coming up, the sequel, whatever sequel's coming up for Frontiers 2. I wanted to know, I know the videos I've had so far have been very art related, but they have also been centered around Sonic. If you guys would like me to like continue to do the art stuff, but maybe sprinkle in some Sonic news or like some thoughts that I might have on like a Sonic game or something like that, let me know. I can sprinkle that into to some of the talking part that I'm doing during the video. I probably wouldn't make it like the central core of the videos, but that'll still be like art. But there are some things, like some opinions I do have like on certain Sonic games that I do think could be seen in some videos. If you guys want that, let me know. If not, also let me know, and I'll avoid it, or maybe I can find like a happy middle ground, you know. Okay, finally at my favorite part. Well, yeah, favorite part. Shading and then coloring. Shading. The thing about shading, I feel like it kind of works my brain in like a special way where it's like you have to like sit down and it's kind of like a puzzle, I guess. I think of it as like, okay, now my brain has to shift and look at every part of this piece as a shape and see where the light source is originally coming from the top left, usually for me. And then apply that to every single shape that's in this figure in the piece. So you see like with the, you can see with the shoes, I look at it as like a box, so like I only shade the right side of the shoe. But yeah, like I really like doing the shading because it's a really good brain exercise. And then like I said, like right afterwards, you can see me going into the coloring. The coloring, it's like what a lot of people have been doing since they were 2. Just get in there with the colors, try to stay in the lines for the base color anyway. And then for the darker colors, that's when you basically go over the shading. That's like your second pass for shading. If I find that I'm making that I made a mistake with the shading, then I'll just fix it in like when I'm putting down the darker darks for the colors that I use. You can see here I'm going in with the bracelets. I wanted to touch on different textures. There's a different texture here. I wanted to try to work with the metal on his bracelets. So you're going to see in a little bit, like as I'm doing the coloring and for his bracelets and such, that I add like a little shine. I think I did something similar to like for Amy's piece as well. But yeah, I just wanted to highlight that, put a little highlight for that, as well as for his eyes. I wanted to make sure that they're glossy. I'm going to try to do my due diligence to make sure that different textures are added into my works. It's just something that I genuinely do like to do, but sometimes I forget it. So I want to consciously remind myself, like, hey, this is a different material. Let's see if we can flex those artist skills and see if we can add a different texture to it. I'm about to wrap up here, but if you do like my videos or if you do like Sonic, I did recently just make a Sage drawing as well as a drawing for Knuckles, if you want to check that out. See you next time.